welcome to my August monthly reset video. If you're new here, my name's Aleaty and this series is where I talk about my monthly content plan. Last month I started this series with my July monthly reset, which was more of a setup than a reset because it was the first month that I have tried planning in this format. And as I mentioned in that video, I love watching this kind of content, so I want to continue to make this series and see where it goes. There will be timestamps on the timeline of this video. If I start talking about a topic that you have no interest in, feel free to skip that topic and skip ahead to something else. Totally up to you. I live stream 3 times a week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 7 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time. And I made all of those streams except 2 last month, which is really good. There was 2 in a row that I missed out on because I had family visiting, but I knew that was going to happen and there was warning ahead of time, so I made every other stream. We started playing Good Pizza, Great Pizza, which is still ongoing. I'm going to add that to my calendar. We do Fortnite Fridays on Friday nights where I get to play with everyone. That's a lot of fun. I played a game called Gorogoa, which was recommended to me. It was a puzzle game. It's hard to explain. It's a perspective puzzle game where you move through layers of images and you kind of have to get them to connect. It's difficult to explain. The stream is still up on my channel if you want to check it out. Everything I talk about, I will do my best to have links in the description as well if you want to check something out. And then I started playing Flock on stream, which I thought was going to be potentially a one-time sit down. I think the playtime was recommended at 5 hours, but I have done 2 streams, which I'm probably past the 5-hour mark now, way past the 5-hour mark, and I have done 2 full streams of it, and I probably need like another one, maybe 2 to complete the game. I feel like I haven't seen a lot of people talking about this game, and I don't know why, because it is so cute and chill, and if you're into collecting, it's really good if you're into collecting in games, if you're like a completionist as well. You essentially are helping your aunt who is a zoologist, and you fly around on the back of a bird identifying other birds that belong to families. Once you've identified them, you can then try and collect whistles, which you can then use to charm the birds to join your flock. There's a bunch of other cool interactions in the game as well. It is available on Xbox Game Pass. I don't know for how long, but that's how I'm playing it, through Xbox Game Pass. I definitely recommend you check it out if you just like cute, cozy, relaxing games. It's also a game you can easily pick up, put down, so you can play it between other games. Fortnite is still happening. Fortnite Fridays is still happening, so I'm adding that to my calendar on Fridays. I am doing Good Pizza, Great Pizza is going to go on for a while, and I think I'm going to keep that on Wednesdays because that's when I've been doing it, and then people can expect more Good Pizza, Great Pizza on that night. Flock, I think I'm going to need probably 1 more stream to finish the game. If I want to 100% it, it's going to be 2 more streams. So I'm just going to throw Flock down. For anyone who's wondering, I use Notion to do all my planning. That's the calendar that I'm currently in. I put pretty much everything in Notion. It's what I like to use. Okay, so I have 2 more for lock in, and then I'll move on to a different game. But I need to get rid of the tick too, because I haven't done it yet. Stream. Oh, the other game that I was playing last month, I put a lot of hours into this game, and it's only the demo, Tavern Keeper. So I joined the Greenheart Games creator program, which is the developer and publisher of Tavern Keeper. The full game hasn't released yet. I think the demo window is just ending. I've been having so much fun because they have an item workshop that's currently open to content creators. We got to try it out first, and you could spend hours in there decorating items and creating items to decorate your tavern. I'm so excited for the full game to come out. I don't think it has a full release date yet. Okay, Q4 2024. Don't know when that's going to be, but it's on my list to be keeping an eye on. So that's my streams. In terms of videos, I try and do a 1 video upload per week to YouTube. I feel like this month I have a lot of video ideas that aren't game related, like it's not covering a game or a demo, but sometimes those things just pop up. So I have been asked about my setup and how I stream so many times when I'm streaming, and I do have an older video that I've been pointing people to on my channel, but I feel like it needs like a refresh and update. Also, I've been asked about my stream deck, like what I use my stream deck for. I get all these questions while I'm like live streaming, and I also have an older video that I point people to. I just feel like that all needs a refresh. I'm going to try and put them all together and do that. I also have an idea of doing a video about thumbnail test reviews, which I have down the following Monday. I don't know if I'm going to record these on Mondays, but that's on the calendar. YouTube recently opened up thumbnail testing for all creators. It was only, I don't know if before it was select creators or creators over a certain size. I know big creators have had this for probably way over a year now, where you can A/B test up to 3 different thumbnails. YouTube will run the test automatically for you, show the different thumbnails to your audience or suggested viewers, and then select the one that is best and that's getting the most traction and the most watch time percentage. And I have been running tests on my recent uploads, and I wanted to make a video about whether or not it's worth it for small creators to be doing. Like, should you be putting time into creating, because you do need to create 3 different thumbnails for every video you do. Is it worth it? What have I learned from doing it? Because I think it's a very different feature for larger creators as it is to tiny creators like me. In terms of gaming, that's a wrap on gaming for now. I also need to add D&D. We did a session last night. It happens on Tuesday nights, and we're talking about now maybe 2 more sessions until the end of campaign. I'm gonna put this on the calendar because knowing us, knowing my D&D group, it ain't gonna be 2 more sessions. It's gonna be like a month of sessions. I don't think we can do the 27th, but I'm putting it there anyway just to remind me. Last month, events. I had a couple of events. What did I do last month? Oh, I went to Winterfest. God, that feels like 3 months ago, like at least. It does not feel like the start of last month. Winterfest is a medieval festival. I believe it's one of the biggest ones that we have in Australia, at least in New South Wales. It was the first time that I went. It was so much fun. I'm so glad that we got there early. I put some snippets up on my Instagram. I wish I'd taken more photos and stuff because we just didn't. It was raining on and off, which made the day difficult, and it was so muddy. We were just like ducking between things to try and not be drenched because we didn't bring an umbrella from the car with us, and you had to park a mile away to get to the showground. We didn't really buy much. Oh, we got Pokemon cards. I'll put the Instagram photo up as well from a local artist. They are so cute. We got cards to match our PSA 10 starters that we have. Just like the vibe was so much fun. If you ever get the opportunity to go to Winterfest or another medieval festival, I recommend. I also got invited to a brand event. I went to the Ultimate Ears Wonderland party. It was a lot of fun. It was so blue inside. I'll also put some pictures up that I have of that. On our way out, we got goodie bags, and inside was a little Wonderboom 4 speaker. This thing is so good, and I am not being paid to say that. The perfect size for taking with you, traveling with you. I'm so excited to use this in the summer. This is waterproof, but also they say it floats, which I feel like waterproof back when I was growing up was like a big thing. If a speaker was waterproof, it was top of the line. Now apparently to be top of the line, you need to be waterproof and float. I don't know how this thing floats because it is so heavy and dense, but they claim on the box it floats. I haven't tested that yet. It's gonna get tested at some point. But the event was so nice. It was so loud inside because obviously they were playing music, obviously the speaker event. I have Nintendo Live Sydney on my calendar for the end of the month. I unfortunately did not get tickets to this, so I can delete this. They did a random ballot drawing to get tickets for the Saturday and Sunday. I really wanted to go to that and see what it's all about. I'll be interested to see anyone who goes. I'm sure someone is going to be vlogging who goes just to see what is going on, because I feel like even if you did get a ticket, you still don't know what to expect. Also, I forgot to mention events for this month. I have a whiskey tasting on the 17th. On the Saturday the 17th, which is like a wine tasting but with whiskey. We are going to a cellar door for that. I am excited for that. I am meant to be catching up with friends. Look, there's plans in the group chat. You know, this happens. Will the plans leave the group chat? Unknown. I think this is going to be a lunch. I think 10th of August was when it was going to happen. I need to reinitiate this conversation in the friend group chat that we are catching up. It's been a minute, so I believe that's happening. That is all for events, I think. Nothing else exciting is happening. I'm getting my hair done next week. That's the most exciting event that I have on my calendar. Who knows, something might pop up. My sleep schedule has been ruined by Formula 1 because I think almost every race this season has happened on or around midnight in Australia. By the time the race is done, you watch the post-race interviews, you do your like end of the night routine, you're going to bed at like 2 a.m. And then you know what didn't help it? The Olympics. Because as soon as we hit the Formula One break, the Olympics is on. I do add the Formula One to my calendar so that I know, I'm aware when the races are on, because this is a calendar that I look at the most often. Okay, so the end of the month, Formula One is back. The Olympics is on. I have been following specifically the women's football, soccer, Matildas, and the men's basketball. In Australia, I feel like half of the Olympics are on at a good viewing time. The other half are like 3 in the morning. It's hard to add those specific things to the calendar because we don't know if we're going to make it through group rounds. Last night, I watched the men's basketball. We played Canada. Unfortunately, we did not win that game. It was very close. Which is good to see. I'm hoping we finish second in our group. I think Canada is going to win all 3 of their games. And if we can beat Greece, which we should because Spain beat Greece and we beat Spain, logic would suggest that we can beat Greece as well. So hopefully we finish second in our pool and we can at least make it to the next round. Next topic, I talked about health and fitness last month and I wanted to do running, which I did do. I missed 1 run and 2 of my runs became walks. So I said I wanted to do, on top of my other health and fitness stuff that I'm doing, I wanted to do 2 runs a week and I wanted to try and track my times to see if I got any better. Because I wear an Apple Watch to record and I missed out some of my runs recording, but I will tell you the ones that I did run. My goal was to improve my split. I'm just trying to get back to my best position. I feel like I'm not doing too bad so far. So let me tell you what I started this month on. My first run, my split was a 9:58, which is bad. Bad for me, I should say. The first one, 9:58. Okay, my next run was a 9:23. So I was already down on my second run just from working on my breathing. Then I went down to my next run, it was an 8:51. So I'm already down over a minute on my split. Like I said before, I'm so glad I started recording my splits because let me tell you, the way that I felt the exact same level of exhaustion after the first recorded run and the third recorded run, I felt like my third run was worse than my first run. When I finished that run on an 8:51, I literally looked at the time and I was like, oh, it's the same as my first run. But then I don't know why I thought 8:51 was my first run. But when I came back and looked at my data that I had noted down, no, 8:51 was a whole minute faster in the split. My first goal is to get back into a 7-minute split. My ultimate goal would be to hit a 6-minute split. I've actually just ordered, I'm waiting for an Amazon order. I ordered some new AirPods because I was running in these over-ear headphones, like JBL headphones, and they're years old and the black rubber has started falling apart on the band. They're also quite heavy to run with, and I used to have AirPods, the first generation AirPods, which have started to deteriorate and one of them doesn't charge anymore or doesn't play sound very well. I got some new AirPods for myself. I treated myself this month. They're meant to be coming tomorrow, so I'm excited to get my hands on those. So I'm gonna try and continue my runs on Tuesdays and Thursdays. I'm gonna try and be better at recording my run times because I did miss out on recording. I forget to wear my Apple Watch sometimes. When I'm getting ready, I just forget to pick it up, and then I get outside. I'm like, I don't have my Apple Watch. I can't bother to go back inside. I'm outside. If I don't leave now, I'm not going on this run. So I need to get better at having my watch so I can record the times. Tuesdays and Thursdays again, we still running. Moving on, what else we have? Etsy. I said one of the main reasons I wanted to do this because I wasn't finding time for some things that I wanted to find time for. One of the big things was finding more time to work on my Etsy store because that had gone downhill in terms of making sales. I'm pleased to announce that last month I did audit my Etsy store. I went through and I removed stuff that I no longer wanted to sell on there. I updated some images for some of my items on my store and product tags and product descriptions. And I have made back in the green, made sales this month, which is good. I realized one of the things that I really liked making last year was a content planner that I put up on my Etsy store. So I'm doing that again for 2025. So I'm starting it, I've already started it and I'm going to be putting it up way early before 2025 so it's available. This time I am leaving it more open. Last year when I was making the 2024 planner, I pre-filled a lot of stuff which once I reviewed it, I was like, that's not that useful to everyone. Like if I want to sell this planner, I need to make it flexible so that anyone can use it and fill in their own content. So I changed the template a little bit. I've updated the color. One thing that I did last year was made the cover the Pantone color of the year, which was Peach Fuzz for 2024. I'm saying last year, but the planner last year for this year. The Pantone color for 2025 has not been released yet. I don't think it gets released until November, December time at the end of the year, but it's looking like it's going to be this purplish gray color from what I can see. So I'm making the theme of my planner that color. I think I need like 2 more chunks of sit down sessions to work on it to have that ready to go up, maybe 3, but that's what I'm currently working on. I also want to do a general planner that's not a content plan for 2025, and I also want to put up a book journal. These are all digital products and I really like making these digital products. I make them all linkable so you can click through and link them. It's a lot of work to make these, but I like making them. I like making the templates. So those are my plans so far to get up on my Etsy. Hoping to get that done this week, if not this week, next week, and then I can start working on the other planners. And then I'm also going to figure out what else I want to do with my Etsy. But the Etsy is on the upward trajectory, which is the thing I wanted to turn around. So I'm glad that I did that. Let's talk books now. Last month I was reading Lightlark. I had started Lightlark the month prior. I DNF'd on the first page, and the reason I DNF'd on the first page is because there is mention of a thing called a star stick, which is basically a magic wand in this story. This is not a spoiler, it happens on the first page. I think I was just in a reading slump and I was not in the mood to push through. I was like, what is a star stick? Put this down. I was reading it on my Kindle. Then I kept seeing people do that trend where they silently react to books that they've read. You know, they hold up the cover and they like do some sort of silent reaction, and people were always reacting so positively to Lightlark, and I'm like, what? I need to try and read this again, because what is up with this book? I read through Lightlark. I gave it 3 stars. Essentially, Lightlark is a fantasy romance young adult book, and there is an island called Lightlark, and there are different regions of the island. I think it's 5, and there is a ruler for each one, and there is a curse that's happening where they can't use their powers to their full potential because this curse has befallen the island. Every 100 years, the rulers converge on this island again to try and break the curse. They get a chance every 100 years. That is the premise of the book. I gave it 3 stars because I felt like the writing was like very jumpy, where I just like jump from one thing to the next to the next. And I also felt like the world building wasn't that deep at all. I was struggling to picture some of the locations in my mind because the description is basically non-existent of what is happening. And I am one of the people, you know, that imagination scale where it's like, what level of things can you visualize? I am at the far end where I can visualize in extreme detail. And you could give me like the most in-depth description and I'm building that in my head and so I love rich description because I can build that. But for some people I know would prefer less description, because even if you give them the description, they're not picturing it all to that level of detail in their mind. So some people might like that, but for me, I would prefer in-depth description. I also feel like the characters just weren't that fleshed out. You get a couple of characters. Obviously the main character has wants, needs, desires, and then everyone else is like an NPC, except for like 2 other characters. It's a good, easy read, I'll say that. Anyway, I got through Lightlark. I was like, this is not that great. I read the sequel, Nightbane. I have just recently finished it, and it is 10 times better than Lightlark, I would say. I really enjoyed the twists of the plot. I feel like the writing got better, and I feel like the character development got mostly better. Still a little bit lacking, but we'll give it a pass. In my Discord, if you want to join, I have a book channel where I chat books. I have an F1 channel where I'm posting basically F1 memes in there right now, but if you want to join, you can. This month in my Discord, I am starting the book club. Throughout my read, I'll be reacting and adding to the book club channel. My book club I have started up as a benefit to my YouTube members and my TikTok subscribers. So if you're on a paid tier, it is one of the benefits that you get to join the book club in the Discord. if you have your social medias linked, you will automatically be added to the book club channel in the Discord. This month, for the first month, we are reading One of Us is Lying. It's also been turned into a TV series on something, on Peacock. I don't even know what Peacock is. It is a young adult murder mystery, which is exciting. I love a murder mystery book. The synopsis is, pay close attention and you might solve this. On Monday afternoon, 5 students at Bayview High walk into detention. Bronwyn the brain, Addie the beauty, Nate the criminal, Cooper the athlete, and Simon the outcast. Only Simon never makes it out of that classroom. I felt like a murder mystery was a good book to react to as the first month of the book club, because you can share your theories basically of who you think did it and what the ending will be. Obviously, I'm going to tag things spoilers in the Discord if you are reading along. This had a Good Choice Award for Best Young Adult Fiction in 2017. It has a 3.93 on Goodreads, so I'm excited to read this. The other book that I have already started reading, which is going to be a July/August book, I'm 38% of the way through on my Kindle, is Bride by Ali Hazelwood. And I saw this in one of Hayley Pham's videos. If you don't know Hayley Pham, you've probably been living under a rock, especially if you're on BookTok or Book YouTube. You've probably come across her videos. I think it was one of her older videos that I saw it on, but she said it's one of her favorite authors, and it was the first fantasy romance book by this author, and she said that she cannot put it down. She loves the style of writing, and I have to agree. I am really enjoying this book. I thought that I would jump into like a standalone fantasy book while I'm trying to read everything else. Like, I didn't want to get into another big series right now, especially with the book club book and the other books that I'm going to show you in a second. I'm reading that on my Kindle. This book is probably going to be done in 2 more days, because I do not want to put it down. I stopped reading this last night and it was 3:30 in the morning, and I was like, damn, I need to put this down. It's fantasy romance. It is a marriage of convenience between a vampire and a werewolf, but it also has a mystery element to it, like a whodunit kind of situation also happening at the same time. So I don't know what it is about this story, but I'm really enjoying it so far, and I really want to read more of this author because I am really enjoying the way that she writes. Also, the female main character in this story is so sassy and to the point and blunt and sarcastic, and it's so much fun to read. Only, what did I say, 38% of the way through that book, but I already recommend it. Definitely check it out. Separate from my book club in Discord, I have a book channel where I post what I thought, my reviews on the books that I've read throughout the month. So if you want to keep up with what I'm reading as it goes along, instead of just waiting for these videos, you can check out that channel because I'm sharing it there. What else am I reading? I'm also part of the way through American Psycho. I have recently really wanted to start getting through classic and cult books. American Psycho, it's like almost a classic, but it's definitely cult. That I'm on page 47. The biggest struggle with getting through this is just how narcissistic the main character is, and he's meant to be, right? He's a psychopath. He's so narcissistic, and his inner monologue is such a struggle. It reminds me, I mean, this is a softer example of this, but the recent Hunger Games book that follows Coriolanus Snow, The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, that's the name of the book, where you follow Snow in his kind of villain origin story. And if you've seen the movie, you should read the book, because in the book, he is so much more narcissistic than in the movie. They kind of soften him up a bit for the screen. This is 10 times that book. If you have read that book, the way that he is just in his own head and it's all about him. So American Psycho is my first classic/cult book that I'm reading through, getting through that one. Next book this month, which I feel like is very on theme for what is happening this month, is The Perfection Point by John Brinkus. If you're really into the Olympics right now, if you're really into sport, I recommend checking this out. This came out in 2014. I think there's been some republished versions. I hate the size of the book, like they made it so tall with the writing, the text so large for no reason. Like, it's such an awkward size. I don't know why they did this. Maybe the reprints are different. The perfection point is about the perfection point of man. How fast, how far, how high? Let me read you the blurb on the back. It is incredible to think that it is only 40 years since Jim Hines ran the 100 meters in under 10 seconds, and now Usain Bolt is inching closer to the 9.5 second mark. But how fast can a human go? Will it ever be run in less than 9 seconds? When and what conditions are necessary to reach the perfection point? A speed, a height, a distance that humans can get closer to but never exceed. And what are the perfection points for other human activities? So I haven't started reading this again, but I remember when I first read this, the 100-meter sprint again is the example because I remember this one really well. It talks about who the human will be. It's going to be a male runner, what nationality they'll be, what their physical build will be like. But it also talks about what the conditions will be. It will be an Olympics. The wind will be this speed at this angle behind them. It will be this humidity. The sun will be here. What country, what like location on earth that Olympic Games would need to take place. It goes into detail about all the things that need to occur for the perfection point to be reached, both in the human elements and the environment. And it does that for different events. And it's just super interesting to read, especially because the Olympics are happening right now. World records are being broken. I wish there was an updated version of this. I think I looked it up and there's been reprints, but there's no updated book. I think the reprints have more up-to-date updates because there are updates like if a record's been broken, it's like update after this was written, blah, 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 you know, set the record for whatever we're talking about. If you are into sport, if you're into the Olympics right now, if you're fascinated by the human limits, read The Perfection Point. High hopes for myself this month, obviously getting through all these books. The final book that I want to read through this month isn't really, it is reading, it's not reading. Kane's Jawbone. You've probably heard about this. If you're anywhere in the realm of books online, this trended, I think, during COVID when people were locked inside, which makes sense. But Kane's Jawbone is the world's most fiendishly difficult literary puzzle. First published in 1934. If you haven't heard Kane's Jawbone, essentially this is a murder mystery novel, but all the pages are printed out of order. They have a little sliced line down the seam here. It's probably hard to make out, so that you can cut out every page and you read through and you have to try and put the sequence of events back in order. It has a single page where you can mark down what you think the real order is. When it first published, it had a cash prize. The back says that only 3 people at time of reprint have solved the mystery of Kane's Jawbone. I think one of the difficulties that comes with this book is the language that it uses, because the language is the language of the time of the 1930s. It has an email address that you can send your answer to. Though the competition is over, I don't know if that email address is still being monitored so that you can be confirmed or denied. I don't know because I haven't looked it up because I don't want to cheat and accidentally see what the answer is. I don't know if they have released what the order is, and I'm sure that there are Reddit threads and discussions that I'll be able to check and compare. I think there will at least be a consensus. If nobody is monitoring the email address for the correct answer, there will be an online consensus about what the answer is at this point in time. You also have a spot where you can list down here who the murderers were, who the victims were. So my first job is to go through and slice all these pages out. I don't know how I'm going to go about, I'm definitely going to spreadsheet this, but I don't know how I'm going to go about having them ordered. This is not going to be done this month. This is going to take time, but I want to get this started. I think it would be fun to start this. I think that is it for books. I have plenty of books to get through. If I missed a topic you want to know about it, let me know so I can make sure I include it next time. If you have any questions about anything that I talked about, feel free to leave a comment down below and I will respond the best I can. Links to everything I talked about in the description if you want to check anything out. If you have any game suggestions, book suggestions, let me know as well. I'm always open to suggestions. If you want to join the Discord, if you want to follow any of my social medias, all down in the description below. I appreciate if you have liked this video or you have subscribed to my channel. It truly helps me a lot, and hopefully I will catch you back here next month for September monthly reset.